I've made another quilt for the Project Quilting Challenge for this week. And this week's challenge was sky, but not cerulean. And so I chose to use my Derwent Inktense pencils to color the sky. I used some raw edge applique to make the farm scene. I did some free motion quilting on it, and then I finished it off with a single fold binding. In this video, I'm going to show you step by step how I made this quilt. So let's get started. So what I chose for this week is this color. I just wanted a nice neutral color that I could use. I thought what I could do is just use some of my Inktense pencils and maybe just do some coloring in to make it have a little bit more color. And then I just chose some darker colors to go with it. I was thinking about a horse, maybe a house. So these are the fabrics that I'm working on. The last few quilts that I made used fabric that was already printed, and I wanted to use more of my creativity to be able to do this. I do like the fence idea, and I might use part of this, but right now I'm thinking I can just make my own fence out of one of these fabrics. So what I have so far is the horse pattern. This is on fusible. I could fuse this on the brown. I cut away some of the fusible so I could put it on the gray fabric. I thought this would make a nice roof. And then I have some blue fabric here. I thought this would be a good fence. I'll be able to cut them up in little pieces so I won't need that much of a fence itself. Okay, I'm back. So this is Heat and Bond Light that I have fused to each of the pieces. The horse fabric, as well as the roof and the fence fabric and the house fabric. So I'll go ahead and cut out the horse. This Heat and Bond Light is a little bit more bumpy than the Steam is Seam 2. So you can see that there's made my drawing skills a little bit wobbly, but it's fine because it's just the way I can cut it smoothly. And if I don't cut it smoothly, that's fine too, because horses aren't all 100% smooth. I don't know why I was always intimidated with horses before with the drawing, maybe especially with the smaller legs. But I've made fusible applique with a lot of other different animals, so I feel like finally I've earned my right to be able to use a horse. It was very coincidental that as I was drawing this horse on my computer, YouTube just offered me a movie that had a horse in it to watch. And so I started watching that, and that's why now I'm cutting in the evening. Okay, so now we have a horse. Oh, it's beautiful. And we have a house. This is the hill that we had made for a different project, and I decided not to use it. But I think I'd like to use it now. And then I think I'm going to put a fence against the line over here. I did think about using the brown for the fence, but I wanted the brown horse, so. I have to look better at the pictures to see what fences look like. That doesn't quite look right. I'm missing something out of here. Maybe I'm just up too high. A little better anyway. And I found this fabric from our last project too. I think this will make a good door. I could have the same color windows, but we had that orange we're looking at earlier. Make cute curtains, but maybe I can put this in here and then put this on top of that so that you can see where the curtain, where the window starts and stops. A little chimney. I like it. So what I can do is go ahead and peel off the paper and arrange the little pieces. On here I'm going to look at a picture of a fence again just to make sure that I have it right. Now we'll then let the horse be free. Okay, so I am going to cut my background piece and start arranging the fabric on the quilt. Okay, let's go ahead and get started and choose the size of our background. No way to do this neatly, I don't think. At least not by me. So we were pretty much at this point, in order to have a big background though, to have lots of sky, maybe we could, and this is, I think this is too big, maybe, put something like this. I can't think of really anything else that we would need much bigger than that though. And this width looks good to me. Okay, so let's move the rest of this fabric out of the way. So we'll probably cut off the selvage here. This background fabric is called Sunshine, a Flower House collection by Debbie Beeves by Robert Kaufman. So put this over here, and I think I'll go ahead and put the house on next. I don't have fusible on the backs of these pieces, but we can use glue like we did for the other quilt. So I'm peeling off the paper. You can see it's shiny because of the fusible is on there. Now usually when you do this, the fabric sticks a little bit to the background. This one doesn't seem to be doing that much. And then this is peeled off here. See, it's shiny. I'll put the roof on. It doesn't stick on, so what I'm going to do is put my ironing mat underneath this so that I can transport this to the iron. So now the piece is on top of the wool ironing mat, and that way we'll be able to move either the iron here or move the ironing mat over to the iron. Either way, whatever works at the moment. Okay. I'm also going to take my school glue and put the windows and the doors onto the house because I don't have fusible on it. Pieces were small, so I didn't take the time to fuse them down. Could actually put a little dab of glue to keep these pieces down too. Of course, these windows have the curtains on the outside, not the inside. Yep, this is backwards. This one was also on backwards. You know, this fabric is pretty easy to tell right side from wrong side. Cut this one a little bit thinner. I like that. That looks good. Oh, this was a chimney. Okay. So I think what I should do is to press the fence up and then decide on the horse placement, because every time I touch the horse, the fence keeps moving. So maybe if I get the fence down. Okay, I think that'll be good for now. Now I can decide on the horse placement. That actually looks good now. Even though this, can't see the bottom of that rung, but I guess you don't need it. I think the horse needs to be closer to us, so it's clear that he's close to us because he's bigger than the house. Yep, I like this. So now we have to color the background, the sky. A little scary to put the applique on first and then color the background. If anything goes wrong, what color is our sky going to be? Could have some blues in there. Maybe a little bit of gray. And then I kind of wanted a little bit of orangish colors too, and some yellows. So the way the Inktense pencils work, I haven't used them very much, but they're water soluble. So basically what you could do is draw whatever you want to do on here and then put some water on it to make them more vibrant and make them stand out more. Or you could dip them in water and then color something, and that'll give you a more vibrant design too. I just want like a backgroundy color. So maybe I'll just put some on a bowl of water and see what that does, and maybe use a paintbrush to paint them on. Okay, so here's my project so far. I have the applique that's been pressed on. Moving this down a little bit so that I can work on the sky to make it a little bit more vibrant. I have here a little cap full of water, and I have my pencils that I chose to use. These are Derwent Inktense pencils, and I Not really good at using these. I haven't used them very much. But that's the whole point of having these things, is you got to use them. So basically I was just thinking about making streaks of color. Something, you know, like this, not really trying to do much of anything, but just have some random colors that pop through to make the sky more interesting than it is right now. So I guess I'll just draw some lines, and then maybe I'll just use a paintbrush to wet them after I get done with it. We'll see what happens. Maybe I should have done it on the fabric first before I appliqued everything down. Okay. So this is the fuchsia color. I know I need to be more bold with my colors here, but it always scares me since I don't know what I'm doing. Okay, I'm gonna maybe just do that with all the rest of the colors. I don't know, probably should put particular colors in some spots instead of everywhere. Blue. This one is another blue, I guess. It's a grayer color, actually. Maybe the gray gets closer to the house. Probably would work well as a shadow. So if the sun is coming this way, the shadow would be like over here. Poppy red. I don't think I'm ready to draw flowers yet. And a yellow. Okay, well it's not better, but I guess it's not worse either. So, okay, so I'll take a paintbrush. Hope I don't make a big mess of this. And you can see how the water intensifies all the colors. What I get for drawing straight lines. I was hoping it would bleed a little bit more. Ever heard about these Inktense pencils at a quilting convention? And they did say that this ink is permanent once it's been pressed, sealed in. Well, I don't think it's better actually. That's how we learn, right? Okay, so if this is what it looks like when you have it, when you wet it first. It just makes it much brighter. Let's see what happens if we water it after that. Doesn't really look much like the sky, but I think it looks okay. I put an affiliate link for the Derwent Inktense pencils in the description box below. Right now, the 36 pencils are cheaper than the 24 pencils, so the link is for the 36 pencils because they're better value. You can see that this is drying up now. I can still press it also to dry it some more and to seal it in. Yeah, I think it looks good. It has that sunset feel to it. I'll just show you what it looks like now. We've got lots of sky. And we've got the house with little fringes of grass, a walkway. And so I'll just let this dry and then I'll come back and work on sandwiching the quilt. Hello, it's another day and I just wanted to show you what the quilt looks like now. You can see that the water has dried from the sky and the colors are still vibrant. And here's the applique part of it. I added a little blanket to the horse from the fabric that we were looking at earlier. This is, I think, from the cow. Yeah, the cow is sharing. This cow is sharing his blanket. I've also cut out the part of the fence that was leaning out here and here. It just looked a little awkward to me. The horse shape wasn't as clear. So I thought if I just cut out the fence part, it still looks like a fence and it's not in the way of the horse. I also found some batting and some backing. I'm going to use the same backing for this quilt as I did for my last one, since it's still out on the table. And so now I'm just going to safety pin all this down to sandwich it, and then we can get on to quilting. I took my sewing machine into the spa today, so I have a backup machine that I'm using. The flatbed table that I have for my opal doesn't quite fit on my backup machine, but I think it'll be fine. We'll have to see how it goes. Always ready for a new adventure. So I'll go ahead and safety pin this, and I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. So I've done a couple things here since I was gone. What I did was I pressed everything all over again. I pressed the backing. I pressed this again too because I wanted to make sure I heat set all these colors on here. And there was a little part here that hadn't been properly pressed because the iron didn't reach when I was trying to do it on this table. And then the second thing I did was to put safety pins through all three of the layers to make sure that everything is secure. And then the third thing I did was a quality inspection to make sure everything was nice and smooth, and it is. So now my plan is to take some black thread and sew down all of the applique to make sure that it stays. The fusible web usually is good about keeping things secure, but I like to have that extra layer. I think it looks better, and it also makes me feel better that everything is properly secure and will stay in place throughout the quilt's life. And then after that, after I'm done securing all the layers with the black thread, I'm going to switch then to a lighter thread so I can quilt the sky. So now we're going to switch over to the sewing machine, and we'll see how it works out because I haven't worked on this machine in a long time. I tested out the free motion quilting on a small piece in the corner, and it looks like it's working just fine. So now I'm just going to continue quilting. beautiful. I like the way it's like a calm sky. Okay, here's the quilt. Okay, we're back at the cutting table again. And you can see that I've quilted the sky with these straight lines that kind of look like clouds. And I have the horse sewn down. I need to trim off some of these excess threads. But the horse and the house and the fence, garden, and the walkway are all quilted down. And so now it's just a matter of trimming the quilt to size. I like to make my quilts big and then decide what size to make them, to trim them down to a size that looks appropriate for the quilt. So I'm going to trim here to the edge of this garden. I'm going to use the salvage here as my line and then this way for the garden. Everything looks so much better after it's been trimmed down. And this one again, I had to decide whether or not it should have some light behind it or just completely green. Depends on how folk artsy and how whimsical I'm feeling. I think I'm going to go ahead and cut it all the way into the green. Make it big and then decide on how much smaller to make it. Because this is a size of the quilt, and I'm not really sure how big I want it, but I do want to make sure it's proportionate. And because I want a lot of sky, I think a wider would look better here proportionately, but we'll cut it here first and see what it looks like. Okay. Guess it doesn't look too bad. I think it looks okay. It's close enough. So what I'm going to do now is to figure out what I'm going to bind this with. Okay, that was an easy choice. I'm going to go ahead and use this fabric. There's not very much of it, so I think I'm just going to make a single fold binding. And I think that'll look pretty good here. And if I have any excess, I could actually add another fence, another row of the fence on this side, just to make it look like there's more on this side. This fabric is called Paintbox 2000 by Thimbleberries for RJR. I'm sure the 2000 was just a fancy name and had nothing whatsoever to do with the date the fabric was printed. So I'm just going to trim off the ends here. Now don't do a lot of single fold binding, but I don't like it to be 1/4 of an inch, so I'm going to make it 1 3/4 maybe. I think that'll give it a nice wide binding without being too wide. Okay, I know that I said my quilt was finished, but it looks to me like it's just not quite there. You can see there's lots of color on this part of the sky, but this part looks empty to me. So I'd like to do something a little bit more on this side. And I wanted to show a different technique on how to use these Inktense pencils. So I thought this would be a good time to just go ahead and do that. So a third way to work on the Inktense pencils is to make like a watercolor section. So what I thought I would do is just take some water and just create like a colored water in here. And you can put as much water in here as you want, or as little water as you want, so that you can create the lightness or darkness that you want on it. And once you've created your color already here, you can use this as a color wash and put it on the quilt as you want. So I think I just want to like add this color in different areas. This makes a nice intense color, and then you can put it exactly where you want it to be. So yeah, I think this is a good way to do it. So I'm going to go ahead and do more of that. It doesn't give you a lot of paint though. I guess unless you use a lot of water in here. This is a lighter color, I think, because there's more water than there is color. What this part is going to do is it's also going to color the thread as well as the quilt. Which I think will add a nice touch. Maybe I'll do some of this on this side too, just to give some more colors. Last time when I was doing it, it kind of worried me of how it was looking with the when it was wet, but I think it dried up beautifully, so now I'm not as worried today as I was about how it looks when it's wet. Okay, yeah, I think this looks good. Let's add another color. Maybe a reddish one. I think this is the one I was using. You can use the same space because I'm fine with it blending. I could also just use this straight on here to dry off the water on the pencil. Should do that with the other color too. Okay. This is really bright. Thinking if I put more water on it, I can spread around the color a little bit more. Maybe if I put some orange on this, it'll make it balance a little bit. Okay, and I think I want a little bit yellow color over here. Yeah, I think I did. We'll use this bright yellow. Maybe I'll switch to less bright. This looks green on here. Okay, I want it to be wet, so that'll be a lighter color. Blend it in a little bit with the orange. I think something over here would be nice too, because it looks like this section looks a lot darker than the rest of this, so maybe something here to that extends out. Something orange, something. So we did pink and orange. What color are we not do? Like this orange. like that. Over here. That's pretty. I want a little bit more of this one. I think this looks good. I don't want to get too carried away. I do want to have some plain color in the background some places. Okay, yeah, so now it's just a matter of letting this dry, and then I'll just heat set it again just to make sure that it's secure, and then this quilt will be done. Thank you for watching me make this quilt. I appreciate all of your support. If you want to see how I made other quilts in the Project Quilting Challenges, you can click on this video here. Haven of Harmony is the last one that I made, and you can watch that video here. So I'll see you in the next video.